Hello. In this video, we will be talking about definite articles. However, the only definite article in the English language is the article the. What are definite articles used for? They are used before nouns and noun phrases to specify that the noun is referencing to one exact object. For instance, let's say that it is Christmas time or someone's birthday, and you are preparing a gift for a person. Let's say that your friend Anton is responsible for keeping the present before the big day. When the day comes, you can ask him, "Hey Anton, do you have the present?" In this case, you are referencing to one certain present, an exact one. Here are some other examples. Do you have the paper? In this sentence, you are asking someone whether they have one exact piece of paper. Do you need the pencil, or can I have it? Here you are asking someone whether they need one particular pencil, and then you ask whether you can have it. Or here's another example. I was born the 10th of May. I am using the article the because I am referring to one specific date. Okay. Occasionally, the article the is something you don't need to use. For instance, let's say that you're out playing poker with your buddies, and then after the game, your friend goes to you and says, "You know, that was a nice game of the poker." Is he grammatically correct? Considering how much whiskey he had, it is safe to say he is wrong. Whenever you are referring to something that is exact, and we know exactly what it is just by name, like poker, we don't need to use the article the. For instance, that was a nice game of rugby, is how you would say it. Although in British English, you would say, "That was a nice game of the rugby." So it can depend, but this video only goes over American English. Here are some more examples. I went to Burger King. Is grammatically correct and doesn't need an article before the noun phrase because Burger King is an exact food chain. If it were any old generic restaurant, I would say I went to the restaurant. But Burger King is not generic, so we use the article the. I went to Barnes & Nobles is also grammatically correct, and you don't need any article because Barnes & Nobles is one exact bookstore. If it were any old bookstore, I would say I went to the bookstore. You could say I went to the Barnes & Nobles down on 8th Street, since you are trying to refer to one exact bookstore on one exact street, but for the most part, you don't need to use the article the. Actually, if you look at it, you could say I went to a Barnes & Nobles. A is an indefinite article, and I will go into that in more detail in another video sometime later. But for this video, we're just going over indefinite articles. Okay, let's go over this topic. Which country do I live in? When you tell people what country you live in, don't use an article. You should say, "I live in Britain." You don't need to use the article the, because we know which country you're referring to exactly. Now let's say I say, "I live in USA." Did I say that correctly? No. In that case, you should use the article the. Why is this the case? Well, whenever you have a country that has the word United in it, or if the country is an archipelago or an island chain, you have to use the article the. I live in the UK, the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom, it's sort of like a group of islands there. Or I live in the Philippines, that's also an archipelago. Or I live in the United Arab Emirates, home to that huge Burj Khalifa. Alrighty guys, it is time for the conclusion or summary. We use the article the before nouns and noun phrases to define that it is referencing to one specific object, place, location, etc. We don't use articles when the noun or noun phrase is more specific rather than referring to a whole idea. If you have the noun restaurant, you should use the article the. If it's a Burger King or a Denny's or a Smith & Wollensky's, don't use the article the. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Until then, peace out.